Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It's May 29th. I'm here at beforeitsnews.com. United Nations issues disgusting ultimatum for or to every white person in the U.S. And recently, this morning actually, I saw an article and I tried finding it after I stumbled across this one. Talking about how they have a special day at a particular college or colleges that are when or where it's okay to discriminate against white people by not allowing them to be there on that particular day. So, most of us probably never heard of the following ultimatum issued to every white person in the U.S. This only goes to prove further that the United Nations is comprised of uninformed and easy-to-maneuver individuals who do not have peace nor fairness in mind, but easily follow the evil ones who manage to continue in control of this ruthless organization. Now, it's undoubtedly true that white people have done many terrible things. However, I think each and every ethnic group out there has done their fair share of terrible things. You have to understand that white people were not the builders of the slave trade. It was Jewish people who were the builders of that trade. It was Arabs who adopted those ideas and ruthlessly implemented them. But yes, white people also participated in slavery. But it's a very little known fact that black folks also participated in slavery and enslaved their own people. And it's also worth pointing out that white people, through the history of civilization, have been slaves quite a lot. You don't see many of us running around with this "I was a slave" complex, or "my ancestors were slaves." Do you? No. I am on the fence on this one, and the reason is because many white people have legitimate complaints, but on the other hand, many black people have legitimate complaints. Now, I tend to stick with my own race because it's just easier for me to get along with people of my own race. I'll give you an example here. You might recall last week I had to work on somebody's car. Well, this individual is a black guy. My longest, the friend I've had here in South Carolina, the longest. The thing about this guy is he is not very smart, okay? And he has a habit of waiting till his car or truck is in such terrible condition through neglect to have somebody look at it. Now, I broke contact with him based on his stupidity, not based on his race. This is an individual who allowed dirt, and a lot of it, to get into their air filter bay and to get into their engine. And there's so much dirt that when I pulled the air filter out, I had a pile of dirt. It's no wonder the car didn't run. But I spent days trying to figure out why the fuck won't this car start. Everything's in good order, and then I find that. And then I understood. It wasn't because Lexus is a piece of shit. It's because he neglected his car and the person before him, Kilo. That's his street name, Kilo. Neglected it. And the people who sold it to him were Russian. I can say with 100% certainty that the Russians took care of that car. I know, I'm venting about that fucking car, but it serves a purpose. It really does. And that purpose is, the guy was not very smart. Okay? And now I'm not going to talk to him again, because he came to me with a problem he created all on his own. He was cheating on his wife, wanted to leave her, and drug me into being a part of that. That's not a friend. Not a friend. Okay. So, it is past time to withdraw from this group of reptilians and mind control delegates, and to force them off the soil of the United States. It's past time to discontinue any support to the United Nations from our nation. And what I don't understand about these people is they will whine and complain and bitch about the United Nations, but not one of these motherfuckers are willing to pick up their weapon. Americans have always been known to be loving, kind, and ready to help those in need in other nations, and there is no need to contribute to an organization that continually votes against our nation and its people. There is no good in them. Most of the members are black and Muslims. You really don't believe their presence on our soil is going to benefit the people of our nation, do you? So, how much longer are the leaders of our nation going to pussyfoot around with the UN criminals? Well, here's the thing. Our leaders are just as much criminals as the UN criminals. That's why they're pussyfooting around with them. Because they too are criminals. They too are child molesters. They too are child sex traffickers. They too ship the drugs into this country. They too arrest the people for taking those same drugs. They are just as wicked as the United Nations. and allow this group to attempt to rule our nation and to issue such decrees against the whites, and or the very ones who, for the most part, are responsible for the contributions to this wicked organization, and who, from their own financial resources, continue to finance trips, missions worldwide to help people in need regardless of race, color, or creed, including the enemies of our nation. And that just makes people more fucking stupid. You see, they're right. White people, most of them, will give you the shirt off their backs. And I'm one of them. And I don't fucking care what color you are. I don't. If you come to me for help, say I'm at Hardee's and I'm buying biscuits, and you come up to me and say, man, I have my kids out in the car, we're starving, can you help me? I will give you what's in my pocket. And I don't fucking care what color you are. I don't care, because you deserve to eat too. And I'm white. About as white as you can get. Although, I must admit, I don't much care for country music. But I digress. And these people are right. We need to be out of the United Nations, but again, all the people who complain about the politicians, about the United Nations, you keep voting for those politicians. And with a straight face, expect there to be a different outcome. You keep funding the United Nations. None of you are willing to put your life on the line, to pick up that rifle, and to march, are you? And if you're not willing to do this, then your words are empty and petty. Not only are they empty and petty, but they are weak. They are the words of a weak, whiny little bitch who, again, isn't willing to put their blood on the line. I am. I'm willing to put my blood on the line. I'm willing to put my life on the line. And have. After weeks of NFL protests, the United Nations issues disgusting ultimatum to every white person in the U.S. October 7th. Okay, well, here's the thing about these protests. Those people have every right to take a knee on that fucking field. They do. They have a right to turn their back while the pledge is being recited. They do. And anyone who's in favor of forcing these people to pledge and to stand for that anthem, you are the truly un-American people. That is freedom of speech. That is freedom of expression. But I get it. I do. Speech is free as long as an individual is spouting your brand of statism. But the moment they spout another message, well, they can't have that freedom of speech, now can they? Hope everyone has a good day. And remember, kill the state before the state kills you.